gentlemen, you're welcome to Fashion Minds 2.0. A round of applause for yourselves, please. A quick one. I'm pretty sure that some of you don't know yourselves. You don't know the persons you're sitting next to. The only person you know is the person you left your home with. So I would like for you guys to, in 2 minutes, meet one or two persons, someone you've not met before. Ask for their name, what they do. Please, ask. Some people are looking at me. You're looking at me, I'm looking at you. And you're still looking. Please. Okay, so while you're at that, some people are laughing. I might come to you. Some people are still sitting. You know, the problem we have in Nigeria is the act of being stubborn. Our leaders, you will talk, they will not hear. Anyway, that's more on a lighter note. You'll be wondering why this kind of arrangement, they put flower inside church. You need to understand one thing, that we are a peculiar people. We are not religious in nature. We love Christ. That is the bottom line. Love God and do things that align with His thoughts, with His mission. And then that is where we are here, Tower of David. We do all things that God loves, yet we do it in a very, very unique way. So now what you're saying is Fashion Minds Day. Fashion Mind is a cluster. We have so many of them. Fashion Mind is one of them. And then what they do basically is fashion. Anything fashion related. You should be fashionable. You don't have to expose it. That's in the pay bride price. If you expose it, your bride price have reduced. You understand? So cover up, look good. Look good. That's the work of fashion, to make you look good. And then aside fashion, we have medics. We have trippers. We have oxygen. We have so many of them. So today is Fashion Minds Day. And then to give us a welcome address, I would like to call on the president of Fashion Minds Cluster in person of Charlie of Lele. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Charlie of Lagos.
Hey, good afternoon. Good morning. I mean, the afternoon or morning. See, I've not slept for like one or 2 days now. I've not slept for. Please, I just want to say, please, can you just give yourself a round of applause, please? Celebrate yourself. Thank you for coming, everyone. The flyers, everyone that we call one day to events, our special guests. I just want to say a very big thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you to God and the pastorate of the church. You know, the Fashion Minds Day is just this simple idea that came up in my head, and I like, okay, this thing can actually happen in the church. This thing, anything we can, you know, every time our pastor used to tell us that we are 10 times better. We can do more things. We can do better. We can do all things as long as Christ strengthens us, you know. But, you know, for me, Fashion Minds is just something that I wish, you know, I used to say it, I wish that you can go outside the box, outside the church thing. And for us, it's just for us to empower young individuals in the fashion industry. You know, for me, I follow one of the greatest designer that everybody that knows me is Andre Iyamah. So, and these people, they are already there. So we just want to, you know, lift some people that are below, just take them high with our platform that we are creating. And you all know that this thing is supported by RCCG, Tower of David, the pastor. Can we just clap for the pastor? Because without Pastor K, without Pastor Shegun, this thing that you are seeing will just be inside canal. You know, the idea will not come to life. And we just want to thank them, the pastorates, everyone, the members of Tower of David. Thank you, everyone invited, everyone that they said, you know, you share your flyer. Thank you, and have fun. Amen. In God's presence.
All right, please, with Jesus' joy, I would like for you all to welcome on stage Mr. Alafia Gbadebo, the CEO of Zoko. You can do better. Some people, you say you are cold. Oh yeah, clap so it can be warm. No. It's okay. Okay, so God said, it is not good for man to what? So, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest, you clap this time around, though. Because they say what a man can do, a woman can do better. So, what you can do for a man, what you're doing for a woman, you should do it better. Have you? So, please, clap. Go for our hand. Please, with Jesus' joy once again, make welcome on stage Miss Bolutifé Ajayi, CEO of Tife or Tife. As a British person that I am, well, Tife, right? You know, you're not good student, you're not catching. I said, right? All right, sir, you're welcome. More, you're welcome. Something have just happened right now. Please just give me. I would like to ask Mr. Gbadebo. I know what I know is just your name. I don't know any of that. You understand? But the God that we serve does what? Knowest all things. So please, sir, we would like to meet you. We as the church, we would like to meet you. As young people, we would like to meet you so that we can start the motto and then let's go there.
Good morning, church. Yeah, it's a great program. Thanks for the opportunity to speak here. I came with my beautiful wife, so I'm not alone. Mrs. Alafia. So, Fashion Minds. Great idea. Very nice. My brand name is Kozoko. It started in 2016. I feel from Inland. I studied economics education actually. I like to put the education at the back. I feel that people that study education are always very shy to put the education at the back of the education. So I'm always very, very proud to say I studied economics education. So maybe I probably learn how to teach from there. So this is not my first business actually. I started first doing something around marketing. So I stumbled on fashion coincidentally. And so far so good. I saw that it's actually a good avenue, and we were able to build up on it for a while. So, about myself, what down to about myself? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm more of the entrepreneur than the fashion person. I think Tife is more of the fashion person. I'm more of the entrepreneur part of the fashion. We have 2 outlets. We are one of the most followed fashion brands on social media. And
Sir, please, I'd like you to stop there first. If we did not hear that, one of the what? And you want to be followed on Instagram. You want to be one of the, and you cannot clap for that. You know, you have to clap so you can tap.
So, like I said, it's more than, for me, it's more than just the gifted hands, actually. There's more to it. So, as the program progresses, we'll get to more of that. Thank you.
All right, ma'am.
Morning, everyone. So my name is Bolutifé. I would say that I'm a fashionpreneur. I've been in fashion for over a decade. So I studied political science, and then okay, can everyone hear me? So my first degree is in political science, and then fashion. So I went to London College of Fashion, and so I have the professional training in fashion. Now, before I started my career in fashion, I'd worked in corporate for a few years. And so I hope that I have enough information to share from my experience. And God willing, you guys learn one or two things from us. So thank you for the invitation. We do hope that you find something interesting to learn.
Thank you very much. Okay, so my next question will now be, you worked in corporate, worked in other industries. Now, why fashion? Why did you settle for fashion?
So I won't call it a settlement. I'll say more like a choice. So it's not a settlement, it's a choice. I think that life is a journey, and then everyone has to explore what you think works for you. Whilst I was in corporate, I didn't get the fulfillment that I wanted. And so I decided to go to fashion school to train for it. And I think after training, of course, you have to explore that option as well. And if you find it to be what you want it to be, then you continue the journey. And I think that's what it is for me.
So I would, henceforth, I will not use Mr. Gbadebo. I will say Zoko. Is that fine? All right, sir. So, you too, sir. Why fashion?
For me, I've always wanted to sell something. I've always wanted to meet people's needs. I was actually looking for something that can make me impact people's life directly. I've been doing consulting for a while, but I was actually looking for a retail product, something that can meet people's needs and I can see it and enjoy it. So I noticed I have a funny habit of looking at people's legs. Anywhere I go to, I look at people's legs. So when somebody came into my office, like I said, I stumbled upon fashion coincidentally. I've always loved fashion, but so somebody came into my office and was talking about he buying something from somebody trying to resell. So a group of young people came to my office and they were talking about, somebody sold these sneakers. Actually started with sneakers. Zoko started with sneakers. It was trying to solve a problem that we started making made in Nigeria before we now evolved to doing everything fashion. So some group of young people came to my office and they were like, they saw this girl selling sneakers, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, not bad. Then one just came later and said, I started selling the sneakers to people in my neighborhood. They like it, blah, 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 blah. And I said, the rest of you're just useless, not doing anything. Come, see this guy now. How much margin do you make? He mentioned the margin. And like, if you take this product and you take it to X, Y, Z places, you make, as I kept it on my Excel, I saw the numbers. I was like, this is not bad money. Me too, I can do this thing. So, so I turned around and I said, okay, do you guys want to do it? He said, no, okay. You know what? I'll start it. I'll call the supplier. I will push it to the market. Lo and behold, the supplier came. We started selling sneakers. And because I wanted something that was retail, it clicked immediately to me that I said, oh, this is a need. If you look at everybody here, we have something in common. Everybody's wearing shoes. Everybody's wearing T-shirts or clothes. So I knew it was something that is going to be in that need. So that's how we started, and that's how we were able to grow the business.
All right, thank you very much. So what will happen is, at intervals while we talk, the models will walk in and out. Are we together? Are we together? All right. So my next question is, it's never easy starting anything. It's never easy, right? Right? Oh. Right? That's it. So, what were the challenges that you faced at early stage?
Like I said, it was not my first business. So I've already built resilience. I know that to succeed in any business is not magic. It's explicit in the Bible. The day Joseph was thrown into that pit was the day his testimony started. it doesn't mean that it's God. God could have just brought those people to come, and immediately maybe the king was passing by, and from there, from the pit, they will take him to the palace, and immediately he will become prime minister. But God does not work that way. It's not magic. It takes time. It takes process. It takes resilience. You have to. I used to ask people, how bad do you want it? You must really want it so bad, so that you'll be able to put all your effort into it. So I've built up that mindset from the beginning, and have always used Joseph case as my platform. Same thing with David. So, like motivational preacher will come and say it's going to be easy. What's it called? Cat with fight lion and cat with defeated lion is a lie. It takes time. It takes effort. But there's something in business called start with the end in mind. Where do you want to get to? If you can have that picture in your mind throughout the course of the, what I call it, venture, dream, vision, whatever it is for you, you are seeing that end in mind. Although you are not there yet, but yeah, there's something you are looking forward to. That will keep pushing you. That will keep driving you forward. Even though challenges will come, you will meet Potiphar's wife, you'll be thrown in prison, all those challenges. But at the end of the day, you'll probably become the prime minister. So that's how it works.
Thank you very much for that insight. So you'll be prepared for Potiphar's wife. Oh. So I didn't just know. Ma, he went to Obodo abroad. He studied this thing. He now came home. One, NEPA did not give you light. What's those challenges? How did you overcome them?
Okay, so if I hear the question correctly, are you asking what my challenge was,
yes,
or how I deal with the current challenge?
Both.
Okay. So I think that realistically, the first challenge I had was determining the kind of fashion designer I wanted to be. Because there are different types of designers, and at the end of the day, you have to determine what it is you want to be before you start. So determining that was one of the challenges. Now, having determined that, I find that starting a fashion business is very easy in Nigeria. That's the truth. Because everyone believes that a fashion business is sewing or having a machine and sewing. So I think that one of the challenges is actually the business side of it, which is outside of the fact that you can sew, you love making people dress very nicely. There's a business side to it, and it has to make sense, which is what Alafia was saying, like the numbers have to make sense, and you have to be sure that that's really what you want to do. So you have to determine from the beginning, what kind of designer do I want to be, and why do I even want to do this in the first place? So that for me was my major challenge. In terms of dealing with the technical and the infrastructural challenges, I think that that's not peculiar to fashion. If you decide to run it as a business, you are going to face that challenge. But then when you already know what you want to achieve, then it becomes easier and you take it like every other business. That's it for me.
People are learning really fast. I'm impressed. If this were to be a live show where we have live audience, and then on TV, it's a live show, live audience, and then it's supposed to be a TV program. There will be one bros that will be standing somewhere there. I will just raise it up. Clap. So people can clap. Please, a round of applause for yourselves once again. You know, in this part of the world, people feel, if I buy a machine, buy a tape room. Would you like buy is not far. You're going to buy material, so who needs role model? So now my question is, do you guys have role model, and did they play any part in your growth?
So I would just like to add something for the fashion part. Like Tife said, you need to understand that there are different segments or different levels to fashion. Or could I call it different industries? So there's a primary level, who are the people that produce the cotton, the leather, the tannery, and all that. That's one industry. So there are 4 industries in fashion. To me, in my opinion, There are 4 industries. The first industry is the people that produce the cotton and the likes. Then there is another industry. These are the people that actually produce the products, the wholesalers, the designers, and the likes. And there's another segment. These are the retailers. These are the stores, the departmental stores that the supplier, you don't have to actually make clothes to be selling fashion. People are selling other people's brand, and they have boutiques. And there's a 4th one. Those are the people like you that are the influencers. Those are the ones chopping the money now. They don't do anything. They just go to the gram, style the clothes, they pay them, and they are fashion entrepreneurs too. So all these are business areas. What I'm trying to buttress this point that all these are business areas in fashion. You can decide to do the primary level, the secondary level, the retail level, or the influencer level. The problem most young people have in business is that you want to do everything together. So you can actually choose a segment. I'm sure Tifa will have that problem if you are trying to be on the retail side and you have manufacturers. Your manufacturers will start saying that they will start having their own pages and start posting too and want to start doing the business of fashion too. You should pick a battle. It's always better that way. As regards the mentor, I think the first thing you should do for any business you want to start is to have a model. It makes your job easy. You know your target audience, you know where you are going to, and you know how to go about it. Like Tifa said, that was the first issue she had. Choosing the direction she wants to go to. If you have a mentor, you'll be able to know. Let me give you an example. A Toyota and a Bentley. They are both selling cars, but 2 different markets. I can't say Toyota is my role model and I'm selling my car for $5 million. It doesn't work. Am I making sense? Your model will determine your direction. For fashion, my model is Zara. There is no Zara top that is $1,000. There is no matter how beautiful or how luxurious it is. Always find a mentor. If you find a mentor, you first be able to choose your target audience. You'll be able to, if you follow your mentor, you see the kind of posts they post. You see the way they market their products. You see the way they do their pricing. This would direct you and not make you make mistakes. An example, you come on social media, you see a competitor with a post beside a bed or a plane, and you'll be like, your staff should go and do the same thing. Are you a luxury brand? If you're not a luxury brand, you can't have a picture where somebody's coming up from a private jet. Your customers don't enter private jets. You can't say a Toyota advert and you see them coming down from a jet and coming into a Toyota. No. Those are the kind of adverts you see for Bentley and the premium cars. When you see a Toyota ad, you see them coming out from a family house, a man, his kids, coming out together, affordable. Direction. You should always choose a mentor. Your mentor will determine your direction. So that way you don't get distracted and you don't sway left and right. So do we have a mentor? Of course. From the get-go, any business I do, anything I do, I always have a mentor brand. So I advise people that for anything they do, you should have a mentor brand which will help put you on a path. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Before you answer that same question, if you have any question written, please indicate. Nobody have a question. You are not have a question because you are overwhelmed. So I overwhelming you. All right. Well, my pastor here, he has a question.
I thought she was going to answer a question. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, our guests. And the question for both, I think I want to also learn, and likewise everyone here. What would you define style as? What would you define style as? Then the next question, it follows suit. That is as if the Western world creates the style that we are doing and determining the pace.
in terms of collection, spring, summer, what you have, and you see a winter collection there, rainy during Harmattan season here, or during rainy season here. Now, where do we draw the line in trying to create an Afrocentric nature into ours? Then again, the next question is one thing to be fashionable. Is another thing, there's another thing that is the business of fashion. The business of fashion is entirely different from just being fashionable. What do you do to become a successful fashion brand in this domain that we find ourselves? Then the last part is tied back to my first question. Physique, color tone, and styling. Where do they merge? Because you see a lot of individuals, you see, this is what I ordered. This is what I got. But you don't have the physique of the person that you want to copy, you know? So there's always a clash. So where does that middle line come in? Thank you. For both of you. How do you define style? The Western world, how are they?
So, personally, I would say style is a very personal thing. Style is who you are. Style is your message to the world. Style is also how you see the world. So, style is how you want to be received. So if you go out dressed a certain way, without anyone saying anything to you, they automatically know how to relate with you based on your appearance. So style is your individuality. It is who you are as a person. And then when you decide to put yourself together, whatever you put together is your style. Now, I think that even that is a journey, because you can start out not knowing who you are. For you to know your style, you have to know who you are. You have to identify what role you want to play in the world, who you are. You can't just dress because Betty has a blue dress and a curvy body. You want to do the same thing. If you decide to do the same thing, that's fine. That means that you are Betty. But then if you want to be an individual, then you have to know yourself to know what your style is. So whenever you put yourself together, you come out, your style is who you are telling all of us, the world, that you are. That is and that is very personal, very individualistic. That is what I think style is.
You want to say something on that?
I think I said it all. Yeah, so there's a difference between clothing and fashion. Clothing is just essential, dressing up to go out. Fashion is an expression, like you just pointed out. You want to show yourself in your own way, and it's different to different people. Sometimes you see some people on the wrong way, they wear gown and say, "Ore kilode, why all this month ceremony?" That's their own style. So it's a reflection of who you are. Some people can be very loud, plenty colors, and some people can be very calm and still make sense. So she has said it all, like I said. So that's what style is to me too.
Okay, then there's one that I said.
Western world determine the fashion.
Okay.
So that has more to do with marketing and perception. The Western world, they have a lot of big budgets. And there's something about us in Africa and wanting to copy. If we see a popular celebrity wear something, it's natural to think that is good and everybody wants to replicate. We have not grown to that much exposure. That's why we don't have somebody that can influence fashion at that level. So when you say the Western world, imagine an event coming on CNN. Imagine the number of countries that will say it. That's automatic exposure for that kind of style. So that's why it looks as if they dictate the brands. But look at it. You wear nice clothes, you dictate fashion very nicely, and LTV comes to cover it, and there's only 6 people that saw it. Nobody wants to. So you have not spread your gospel. Do you understand? So that's the strength they have. But now a lot of young entrepreneurs are coming up in Nigeria and creating that exposure too. That say, wear Africa. If you look at a lot of stuffs, D&G does now, Versace, you can see they're using a lot of African prints. There are a lot of African prints coming out there now. A lot of these brands are actually coming to Africa now to check out our style and add it to their own style. So I don't think it's a function of just style. I think it's a function of marketing and influence.
Sir, when you said LTV, I felt attacked. But it's not 6 people that are watching it. All right, so right about now, our models are ready to walk the wrong way. And then, so we have two brands coming together. So the models will be carrying bags from Ruby Rose, and then their clothes is from Mirad Couture. Please, a round of applause. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Ruby Rose and Merat Couture. Go to them, or is he on the phone? Do you have role model or you don't? Then do you believe in it? And then to the upcoming people, what would you say to them, to have role model or not to have role model?
Well, I think that you always have, it's good to have a reference point. So like Alafia said, you have to have like a brand that is probably already doing what you want to achieve, but then you have to have the times in your head that things are changing. And so you can apply your individuality to your brand, but then it's good to have a reference point to say, okay, I want to be a Chanel, I want to be a Gucci, I want to be a Diola Sego, I want to be, I mean, it's good to have a reference point. So, and it's good to have different ones in different areas. So you can say, in terms of design, I want a Chanel. In terms of branding, I want a Gucci. And they're all different. In terms of my branding, like I said, you want to be, so it's different. And you can pick each one and say this is, in fact, I think it's easier if you pick these different brands as a reference point to build yours, your identity. It's easier that way. Now, in terms of a personal role model, right? Or a mentor, it's easier when you have a support system. It's easier when you have people that you can ask, what do you think of this? What do you think of it? Because honestly, running a business is overwhelming. People just glamorize it and say, oh, yeah, it's very tasking. It's very overwhelming, and it helps a lot. If you have people that have gone ahead of you, that have done it, I always say to people, especially people that are in fashion, if you know how to sew, it's a good starting point, but that's not it. So it's good to intern. When you intern, you find places that you believe in their values or places that you believe in their design, whatever it is, you learn, spend time learning, because what you learn is what you're going to execute in your own business. So for those that want to start out and just start sewing, I don't think it's as easy as that. It's best to start with someone, learn all the lessons you want to learn, and then you can start out on your own. It's safer, it's easier. Do you need a mentor? If you think that you can do it alone, which I doubt, then you can, but it's best to always have someone you can always run back to and say, please, what should I? But then again, even with your mentors, you have to be sure of yourself and say, this is what I want to do. And so you have to find a balance between what others are telling you to do and what you really want to do, because they don't have the picture that you have. But it's best to have a support system, yes.
Thank you very much. How I wish Brother Rafi was here now to hear what you just said. It's not because you can sew. You now say you're MD CEO. They should learn. They should intern.
Well, yeah, because there's different segments in fashion. So you might, everybody says fashion designer. It's not the same thing. If you're a fashionpreneur, you're not a fashion designer. If you're an illustrator, you're an illustrator. And it's almost like a tree, and everybody plays a certain function to make it a whole. It's not that, oh, because you can sew, you're a fashion designer. No, you're not a fashion designer. You are a tailor.
A tailor.
Or you are if you cannot sketch and do all those things, you're not a designer. But the thing is, you can bring all of these people together and be a fashion designer. But it's not enough that because you can sew, that you're a fashion designer. You're not. If you can sew, it's a great advantage, because then you can tell people which way to go and how to churn out your designs. But outside of that, there's so many other levels to it, in terms of how do you even come up with a collection? How do you know what you're trying to say to the world? How do you go with your branding? It's a message. Fashion is like a huge expression. It's not just, I'm sewing a dress. It's so much more than that. And if you look to the global market, you understand that the way they do their things is very different. So if you see a dress, outside of the fact that the dress is just fine, there's a story to the dress, and everything connects, everything makes sense. And so if you know how to sew, it's a great place to start. If you want to be a designer, it is a great place to start. But please understand that there's a technical side to it, there's a design side to it, which is a lot more creative, and there's a business side to it, which, of course, you need support if you're more of a creative person than a business person. And that's what I think.
All right, thank you very much. Round of applause for her. So every design, there's a backstory to it.
Must be a backstory to it.
I will ask my tailor. I need to know the
Your
backstory.
tailor is not a designer. Your tailor is a tailor, like you just
It's
said.
a tailor.
Yes.
So tailors don't know backstories.
I think I won't say that. I won't say that. I would say that the tailor is someone. Let me guess. Did you give him a picture of this, or did you see someone that wore it and then you told him to create it?
I'm like, yes, do something.
Exactly. So it's not his story. You saw it on someone and you said, "Oh, replicate it," and so it doesn't have a story.
So you cannot look for a story for it.
It can't look for a story for it. How can he look for a story? Because it's someone else's story. And you just replicated it because you like it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you have to identify if you want to be a tailor, so you're churning out other people's designs, or you're a designer, you actually have a story to tell with clothes or apparel or anyone, jewelry, anything you decide to.
Can I add to that? So what she's basically saying is that, so like I said, there are two kinds of fashion. There's the clothing and there's the fashion. There are two kinds of fashion. There are brands that are just clothing brands, and there are brands that are fashion brands. So it's luxury. Those are the brands that are actually more conscious about the luxury perspective of the business. There's no story behind so I'm just trying to make it so that if you want to go into fashion, you don't break your head. Like right for men, people that are in men fashion segments, and you say, okay, I want to be a clothing brand and I want to just do I want to do t-shirts. I want to do t-shirts. So a black t-shirt, it's a black t-shirt. I understand. So, but if you want to be like in our own industry now, you have to have detail. You're not mass producing it. It's not for everybody. Do you get? There must be a story behind it. You must be able to say why you are selling it at this particular amount. But if it's just clothing to meet essential needs, there might not be too much detail on that. That's what I'm trying to say.
And back to my points, if you're just doing essentials, if you're copying someone else, you are not a designer. You are a
clothing
fashion
brand
entrepreneur or a clothing brand. So if you decide that you want to design, you want to tell a story. So there are different segments to it, like I said, and I think that every segment has the business side. So if you decide to do luxury, which is more the Balmain, the Chanel, the Hermes, you have that. If you decide to do premium, which is like the Massimo Dutti, whatever, every brand has a story. The ones that do not have are mass market brands. And those are the brands that copy what the Gucci's and the whatnot does. Now, with those ones, you don't necessarily have to have a story. But if you decide, I think if you want to be a designer, a fashion designer, it's best to have your individuality. And of course, it's not something you achieve in a day. It's a journey. But it's best to have it at the back of your mind that what am I bringing to the table? If I decide to add a pin here, why? And then will I be identified with my pin every time I put a pin? Do you understand? So it's not that you can't be a designer. If you decide you want to copy Gucci, you can copy and you are still in fashion, but you are not a designer.
All right, thank you very much. Please a round of applause. You just heard her. If you are going to Balogun to go and buy that bag, he does not have a story. Leave it. It's mass pro. Uh-huh. All right, so this leads me to the next question. Oh, So now my next question is, you guys have talked about it before, but I need you guys to clarify. Just, you say this, you expatiate, you elaborate. I don't want to sew. I don't want a press machine. But I want to be in that industry. What other skills can I acquire?
So let me say this. It's good to know how to sew. But it doesn't mean that because you cannot sew, you cannot have a fashion brand. Right? Now, having said that, you have the business side. For the business side, you need the accountants. You need the... What do you need in the business side? The marketers, the content creators. That's the... You need this for the operations, facility management, all of these people you need in the business side. For the creative part, you need an illustrator, an assistant designer if you decide that you want to have an assistant designer. You need a pattern drafter. You need a machinist. You need a tailor. You need... So you need a stylist if you... Actually, you don't need. You can be a stylist. You can be an assistant designer or a designer. So like a creative director where you churn out the designs for the brand as opposed to being... So I can own the brand and be the CEO of the brand, and then I have an assistant designer or a creative director that does the design part of it. You can be a production manager where you manage the tailors or you manage the execution of garment making. You can be a brand manager where you are involved in telling the story of the brand, the way the brand story needs to be told. You can be the PR person, which is more events management for the brand. So if you have like a fashion show, if you have events, you can also be, I'm not sure what they call it, but you know how you have individuals that's, when you have stores and you want to get your product to its store, there's somebody in charge of that. It doesn't have to be the designer. So the person that goes out to look for all of these stores, you can be a lawyer in a fashion house. There are different segments to it, so it doesn't have to be that you must sew or you must. If you can illustrate, if you can do graphics, you can do that. So there are different, opportunities available that isn't just sewing or dressmaking.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I think I said it all. But like I said before, the industry is so big. Globally, the fashion industry is like about $2.5 trillion. So there are different value chain. There are people that make the cotton, like I said, the primary level, but a lot of you people don't want to go to the farm and do that one. There's a second level, which she has been talking about, explaining about. These are the manufacturers, the designers. Those actually, the manufacturers and designers. That is another level, secondary level. There's a third level. Because I have a boutique, I like fashion, and I buy from abroad. And these people that call themselves personal shoppers, and they sell other people's brand. They love fashion. They are fashion people too. They're in the fashion business. That's the third level. It's called retail. And there is fourth level. You see a lot of people now on Instagram. They're influencers. That's the final part she was talking about. Influencers, stylists. That's another industry in fashion. So what I'm trying to say is that these four segments are different industries. You can actually decide to be in any of these ones. The final one now, you see a lot of young people on Instagram. They are stylists. People send them products. They tell you to wear this, like this, like this, like this. For them to be doing that, they love fashion. They're fashion entrepreneurs too. They make money from it. So choose a battle and be the best in that battle. So if you want to do manufacturing, be the best at it. If you want to do retail, be the best at it. If you want to be a stylist, be the best at it. I give an example of tailors. If you have tailors, you see that your tailor too is posting and sending and start selling directly, like doing retail. It's not wrong, but that's abroad. You'd rarely see that. You'll be shocked that a lot of these fashion brands don't even manufacture their product. There's a factory somewhere in China, in Cambodia, in Vietnam, that they are in the business of fashion, but the only thing they do is just production. And they are very good at it. and they are making money from it. And there's another brand that is doing the styling, designing, and sending it to this factory, and they are very good at it, and they are making money from it. So, like I said, just choose a battle.
Thank you very much, sir. He said, choose a battle. My own problem is not the battle. My problem is what you are taking to the battleground. Ukraine can testify. If you know you have a question, please indicate if you have a question. Signify, you can raise your hand up. Okay. More hands if you have a question.
Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon to the facilitators. My question, you talked about we having, like, if you want to go into fashion business, you should have, like, a mentor. I want to be sure, is it, like, just a mentor, or you can have a variety of mentor, then from it you can now, like she said, because she's talked about designers, and what I'm hearing from a designer is being creative, your creativity. And if you have just one person, for you to create something out of it will be kind of, because I feel nothing is original. You get things from people and now make it yours and now create from it. So I want to know, is it fine to have different kinds of brands to learn from, to mentor you? Like, learn from them and pick one or two to make it. And also, my second question is print on demand, POD. How can someone go into that business here in Nigeria? I want to know that, please.
Print on demand?
Yes, POD. Thank you.
Do you want to answer this right now, or I should pick one more person? Okay, so one more person.
Good afternoon, everyone. I almost missed this program, and I would have regretted it terribly. So basically, I'm one of those people who have this idea that I hope to own a fashion brand someday, but I have this perception that it must be capital intensive. You must be boxed up to go into the fashion world. And I don't know if I'm correct. I don't know if I am, but I would love you to just put me on the right path. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That will be all right. One more. You have a question?
Can we answer the two so we don't mix it up, so we don't forget, because I'm not taking notes. Can we answer the two first? Okay.
Yes, please.
So he asked about should you have one mentor? Of course not. You are supposed to have like 1 billion mentors when it comes to fashion, because fashion, the one thing about fashion that is very funny is that it's always changing. Like I said, it evolves very, very, very fast. It's so bad that for people that sell some of these designs, you produce, before it comes from your factory, maybe you produce internationally, style has already changed. That is that bad, especially in the female segment. What I meant by having a mentor is because the first thing is you have to see your end in mind. How do you want to play? The industry is very big. How do you want to play? Who is already playing that way? So I want to start making cars. I want to make electric cars. Who is the best in this industry that makes electric cars? I will say, okay, I want to be like Tesla. But it doesn't mean that every day I'm not looking at other people's style, the issues they are having. I'm actually not learning from as many people as possible. Am I making sense? So having like 1 or 2 mentors is just to see your end goal, that this brand is already successful in this industry. I want to be like them. But your day-to-day activity, as the fashion is changing, you have to see what competitors, big brands are doing. Because you are in the affordable industry, does not mean you cannot look at ideas from luxury brands. in as much as possible, you even follow all of them. So you know what is happening. You are learning from maybe style, marketing strategy, collaboration. Who saw the Gucci and the Adidas collaboration recently? Like last week. Did anybody see that? Nobody is in the fashion business. Because if you're actually in fashion business, Gucci and Adidas, they just did a collaboration. They are doing both. You see a design, it has both Gucci and Adidas. That can tell you that you can merge and replicate same. They are both not your mentors, but you can see what they are doing, and it's going to help the business. So I think you should have as many as possible, but have the one that you want to be like, or you want to surpass, of course.
All right.
So, can I answer the second question too? So just clear it out. Okay, we'll just do this one first.
So I think that for mentorship, I agree with him to a certain point. I think that there's so much information that you can get lost in all of the information. So I would say, like he said, I think, that you should have your core, like the core people, the core values that are not changing. So if you say, I want to be, again, a Chanel, there's certain value system that they have that no matter what the season, what the market is saying, some things will not change. Those are you would adjust your strategy, but the core of your brand is not going to change. So I think that I would say that you should identify the core of your brand, identify the brands that are doing what it is that is the core of your brand, and understand how they do it. But in terms of execution, like he said, you have to be as fast as the market. Yeah? But too much, this person is doing this, let me do this, this person is doing that. It's very confusing, and I don't think it's best all the time, if you ask me. But like he said, if you say, oh, branding, I want to be a Gucci, then also you have to understand, if your core brand is a luxury brand, for example, their methodology is going to be very different from a mass market luxury brand. So like, am I speaking too much English? Okay. Please, if you don't understand, ask me so I can clarify. So I'll give you an example. I don't know what brand are you conversant with in fashion. If you can mention 2 brands, then it will be easier for me to break it down. Does anybody, any brand? Okay, Maya Tafo, Christian Dior, Gucci. So, in my opinion, although they are both in the luxury space, but Christian Dior and Gucci are not the same. So, if you ask me, one is more mass in terms of acceptance than the other. So, it really, I feel like, no. So, you guys have to know before you can't have I can't, if you're not familiar with it, then I'm just talking off point. So you have to, like he said, back to what he said, you can have plenty mentors.
No, I didn't say, what I'm trying to say is that, I'm not saying you should follow all their designs. I'm just saying that you need to be abreast of what's happening in the industry. So you can have as many as possible. It doesn't mean you have to replicate. Like I said, you have to have your core values, which I said, so let's call them your core mentors. But the market is evolving. You have to know. So you will not be like the guy. So there's this company that used to do typewriter. They were the best at doing typewriter. When computer came, laptops, they said it cannot work. Never. And they started releasing new model. They are still the best typewriter company, but they are not making money. So you don't want to be a typewriter company when people have already started doing laptops. Do you get?
All right. Thank you very much.
The second question.
Okay.
The second question.
Yes.
He said something about finance. Yeah. Business is capital intensive. That's why it's called business. But I've always had this idea that the last thing to start a business is finance. For me, I don't know. It has always been the last thing. One thing, there's so much. I met somebody recently, and I was thinking about him that wanted to raise seed funding and everything. I said, I laugh here. The problem is that there's so much money. Never think there's no money. The money is so much that the problem that will bring that other money is just ideas. So there's so much money everywhere. How good is your idea that you can convince people to put money into it? The first thing you even start with is people around you. And first thing that defines that is your personal integrity, character. You can't come and meet me as one of your uncle and say you want to start something and you tell me to give you a seed, maybe like a 20,000, and you say you give me back in 2 months, and I have to be the one calling you to chase you. You have already blocked your finance pool. Finance is something you always need in business. Always, no matter how much you scale. If you grow from 1 store to 50 store, when you want to go to 1,000 store, you need finance. So you always need finance. The only thing that can solve your financial problem is your level of integrity that will make people know that if they give you money, they'll get their money back. So if you work on yourself, you can always get money.
All right, thank you very much. Ms. Tife, I would like you to answer this. It says, at what point did you balance quality and pricing? Was it at the beginning or down the line? In Nigeria, do we sell quality or name? At what point balance quality and pricing? Some people say if it's expensive or quality.
So I think that that's a question your target audience have to answer for you with time. Because I'll give you my personal experience. I remember when I started, I had a picture in my head of who my target audience was. But as the business progressed, we found out that in my opinion, I was focused on younger people. But then when I started the business, I found that for the product offering, it was a lot more older people that were interested. And those were the people that had the money to pay. Now, but certain things had to change. In terms of, I think that business, honestly, is a journey. Because you might start at a certain price point and you find that the people you want to pay for that item are not, they don't have the, what do you call it now? The financial capacity, purchasing power. So for me, I think we're still trying to balance it. It's a journey. We're still trying to balance it because you might have a product now and you think that your pricing is perfect, but then you find that people are not willing to buy it because it's your target audience. Some people attach value to price. Some people attach value to quality, and quality is different things to different people. So if you ask me, I think it's a journey for me. We're still trying to figure the perfect, I know what it is for my business, but I think it wasn't something I figured out overnight. So that's that. What's the second question?
In Nigeria, do we sell quality or name?
So I find that a lot of people go with popular brands. There's popular brands and they are different. They are brands that are making shitload of money, but they are not popular. They are not as popular on Instagram as you expect. So I think also there is your target audience that determines this. I would say that again. That's not to say that there isn't always more opportunities, but that a brand is, what's the question? Sorry, just to be sure that I heard you correctly.
Yeah, in Nigeria,
quality.
Do we sell quality or name?
Quality or?
Name, which do we sell?
So all over the world, people sell name. If you put if you put a lot of effort into something, then you don't have to introduce yourself to sell it, right? So if you put a lot of effort into your name, you would sell it if you do it right. But then it doesn't always mean that name is quality. So it really depends on you and the target interested in everybody being on your ship. Yeah. But if you want quality, it's not everybody that is going to accept it because a lot of work goes into quality. And the people that are willing to pay the price for quality are the ones that have the eyes for quality. It's not everybody. So that something is trending does not mean it's quality. The people that know and will pay the price So the same thing, like he said, if you want a Bentley, it's not everybody that can afford a Bentley. But when someone that knows quality sees a Bentley, they know what a Bentley is. You don't even have to market it because it goes with their whatever, right? So is it quality? Every brand in the world, at the end of the day, you want to build a name for yourself. But then it's not all brands that have quality.
All right. Thank you very much. A round of applause for her.
Taxis waiting down on the street, so hurry up, I have to go. Looking round, you see all the people making faces very cool. Carry me away, far from the cool that never breaks. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Going home, where the rose goes, I already know. Where everybody cares for one another, and they take you as their sister. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. Where the children run around, just laughing in the crowd. I hope we still remain the same. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. And there's something in the song that makes it feel like home, and that's what's calling out my name. Hey yo. My mind could fly away. Houses getting small on the way up. In my heart a sunny day, dreaming of me on stage. 5 years of age and I'm not afraid. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Going home. Where this road goes, I already know. Everybody cares for one another, and they take you as their brother. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. When the children run around, it's laughing in the crowd. I hope it still remain the same. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. And there's something with the song that makes it feel at home, and that's what's calling out my name. Hey yo. The rose goes, I already know. Where everybody cares for one another, and they take you as their sister. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. When the children run around, it's laughing in the crowd. I hope it still remain the same. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. And there's something about the song that makes it feel at home, and that's what's calling out my name. Hey yo. my mind could fly away. Houses getting smaller on the way up. And the hearts of falling day. Women of me on stage. 5 years of age and I'm not afraid. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going home, where the road goes I already know, where everybody cares for one another, and they take you as your sister. And when the children run around, it's laughing in the crowd. I hope it still remains the same. And there's something in the song that makes you feel at home, and that's what's calling out my name. There was something about the song that makes you feel at home, and this was calling out my name. Would you take me and embrace me as your own? Would you take me and embrace me as your own? There is something that's about the children, and that's who calling out my name. And there is something in the song that makes you feel at home, and that's who's calling out my name. Hey yo, 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 hey yo,
We've talked a bit more about the positives and we're forgetting the negatives about business. So I'd like you to shed a bit more light about the major shortcomings in the fashion business. And as a young man in the business, what loopholes and what red flags should we look out for going into the business?
Good afternoon. Okay, my name is Elliot. I'm a tailor. Yeah, okay, so, before learning fashion, before learning tailoring, okay, the intention was to venture into ready-to-wear. Okay, so I made one for somebody likes it, okay, one day I made a dress for myself, for Thanksgiving, a native Ashwebi kind of. And then I saw someone, oh, I like it, make one for me. And then from there, I realized I began to make ready-to-wear Ashwebi, kiniko. I was unable to create my niche. And I want to ask, is it still possible for me to maybe ignore or just go out of the Ashwebi kind of thing and just venture into my ready-to-wear entire?
So I feel like if you have something that is already working, just keep at it, and you can always start another brand, maybe a diffusion or something to support that can now be your creative expression. But if you already have a business in that, just keep at it. I think that just keep at it, and then find another brand to you can merge it something by something, or create another brand to now push your creative side. And if it takes as much, then good for you. But I don't think you should stop it or pause or whatnot. I think you should continue and then try this other brand, or because continue your ready-to-wear, please. The other question was challenges for me, and this doesn't apply to anyone. I would say that one of the things that I learned is I wish I'd put in as much structure in the business when I started than when, what is let me break it down. Structure is, how do you break it down? The right process. So don't do everything by yourself. If you need an accountant, if you're not good with accounting, get an accountant. If you're good with cutting, stick to cutting and get a tailor to be sewing it. If you're better at sewing, get someone that can, if you're not good at branding, you don't have to do everything. And I think that's one of the mistakes a lot of us make, is that we want to do everything. We're the ones that will do the branding, we're the ones that will do the sewing, we're the ones. If I would advise anyone, I'll say create a team of people and then grow with them if possible. So you have each unit. So as you make more money, the bulk of the work is not on you if you can afford it. That's what I would say.
All right, thank you very much. I have another question here.
Okay, good afternoon. My question is this. How do a tailor, someone who learned vocationally, that doesn't have the opportunity to go to a fashion school but learns like vocationally and can design, that's create his own design and can sew properly or well, but wants to transition into a recognized brand? What I mean, like these brands we see, wants to transition into that kind of a brand. How does such person do that? How does such person transition from that point to the other point? And again, I've been always meaning to ask this question. Are there industry secrets, like fashion industry secrets? Because sometimes some of these brands we look up to, we hear, like you say, have mentors, do this, do that. But most times these people are not even accessible. And the only leverage we have for people like us that can't like reach them physically or see them physically is social media. You even reach out to these people on social media. Some of them don't reply you. And there are some things, for example now, there's a particular brand I do follow. It uses some, I don't know if you know, it's Taylor Banks. I don't know if you're familiar with that brand. Taylor Banks. It uses, like, his prints, his fabrics are unique. Then there was a day I messaged him on Instagram. I was like, where do you source? How do you source for your... They don't tell you these things. It's true. How will I know? Somebody like me, how will I know? Where do you get these things from?
You're asking me how I get my fabric. Where you should go and so do your own. All right, so that's for you. 2 questions, right?
Okay.
And then I have one more question for you. So please hold that thought.
Hi. So I want to ask, if you have an idea of how to combine clothes, are you a fashionista? Is this something you can do, that you can go into? And if I want to go into it, how do I start? What are the baby steps that I can start with? Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, if I remember his question, he said, how do you transition from being
like
a tailor
to
a brand?
Mm-hmm. And
so,
are there fashion secrets?
Of course, okay. So, how do you transition? If you, like Tifa has mentioned, you need to know your area of strength. Business is broad. If you are a tailor, you know how to sew very well, and you want to be out there. One thing a lot of people don't know about business is marketing is very key. And marketing is very broad. Feedback, branding, exposure, and the likes. If you are a very good tailor and you are not doing marketing, it's like winking in the dark. I'm sure we all know what winking is. Imagine you are in the dark and you are doing your eye like this. It's only you that know what you are doing. Nobody else does. Do you know that? So you need to wink where people can see you. 1, you sew very well. Take it out there. Open a social media page or something. Tell people about your product. Then, as you grow, because I don't want to say that you should get somebody to start because you cannot pay. If you want to employ somebody that is very good with marketing and everything, you probably will not be able to pay. So, start like that. expand your business, grow. As you grow, then you can build your team. Build your team in the sense that if you want to continue doing the cutting, like she has said, employ other people to do the sewing. There's this funny thing about business. People will say that they cannot sew it the way I can. They cannot. It's a bloody lie. People will say, if you expose, I don't want to get an accountant. If I expose an accountant, they will carry my money away. It's a bloody lie. A bank has a branch in Lagos and has a branch in Sokoto, and the MD of that bank has never been to that Sokoto branch before. They put processes. If, I don't know, sorry, if somebody has worked with me before, they know that one of my biggest strengths is I know how to fire very fast. I fire very fast. If you're not aligning with my vision and goal, I tell you to go, not fight. So, you need to build a team. And you need to delegate. Delegation is very, very key. And you need to be able to share inside your proceeds. Why a lot of businesses don't grow is that the MD wants to chop everything and be paying stipends to other people. No, it's wrong. So you need to be, from that first level of being able to do it very well, once you grow, if you have to just be doing the cutting, because as a business owner, you need time to think. The biggest part of the business is the thinking part. It's not the cutting. Anybody can cut. You can go and bring people from Cotonou. I've heard you bring people from. You show him the type pattern. And what people don't invest again is, people don't invest in training. That's one critical part again. You need to invest the money in training. So if you see that Tifa is very good, you see her style, that person you bust online, if he's a good tailor, just buy him and say, sir, I want you to come and train my staff. I will pay you 300,000 and let him see money. It will be the worst one to reply and say, okay, what's your name? How are you? I will like, okay, give me your number. You need to be able to pay for value. If you pay for that value, that guy comes. There was a time I paid somebody, they came from Portugal, to train my cobblers. My cobblers were shocked. It was a white guy. I paid in dollars. You will be shocked the basic things about shoe that have like 10 cobblers and they don't know. So the point was, a shoe cannot be straight like this. It's always tapping. And the guy just did a small physics. You just showed them a part and he bent it and we were able to solve that problem. Very simple, professional. Problem solved. The business is going well. I face the expansion part. So you should be able to delegate, then you will see your business expand. We cannot learn everything today. So, and again, read more on branding and business expansion. The second question, what was it? What was the second question? Secrets. Of course, there have to be trade secrets. They always say that the only two people that know Coca-Cola, there are only two people that know how to mix that Coca-Cola ingredient. That's one's in the country, the other one cannot be in the plane. One is always flying at different time. So every brand has trade secrets. But me, I always say it's a lie. I just think it's a story they build behind the brand. If you want to get where he gets his fabric from, go to Google. You say you want to meet some of his mentors. There are a whole lot of information on Google. A whole lot. You can source fabrics from... You know the bad thing? You can go to Alibaba and go and look for somebody that does prints, and you see his own print manufacturer go using his own print as an example. Have you done... Who knows Alibaba here? That part, a lot of Nigerian brands, you see them and say they have trade secret. You just go to Alibaba, you just see that guy, his manufacturer is using his own brand, Gongo as sample that is doing the same thing. So I think you should just explore more, find out more information, and spend money to get better. Training, you need to train yourself. It will really help you. And pay these people to come and do this training for you. And it's a one-off. Once you get that, you already know it, and you can ride with it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Mr. Fair.
Sorry, can I have
The question again?
So I was asking if you know how to combine clothes together. Can you take that as a profession? Are you a fashionista? And if you want to go into it, the baby steps, things that I need to do or I need to know, or baby steps.
Okay, so can you do that as a business? Absolutely. How do you start out? There are different ways to it. You can join a fashion house and be their stylist. Good thing is if you decide to do that, you have that on your plate, and then you can learn other parts of it. If you're interested, you can start as a freelance. Nobody is going to pay. First thing, I don't think that anybody is going to pay you for knowing how to dress initially. So you have to know that it's going to take time. So if you go to a fashion house, for example, and say, oh, I want to be a stylist, or this is my style, then you have to have a portfolio of people that you've styled, whether they paid you or not, that you can bring on board and say, this is what I've done. So you have to have like a record of what you've done. If you decide not to work with a fashion house, you can do it freelance. So you have individuals that are interested in these things, and you can send them your profile as well and say, this is what I'm doing. But then you have to brand it properly such that I can take you seriously. Because if you just come to me and say, oh, you styled your friends, you know, you have to take it as a business seriously first. Have your portfolio, have your pictures, whatnot, and then you can send it out to people. Or you can decide to start with a fashion house and be their stylist for a period of time, then you move to another, such that you already build the momentum for your brand.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, so my next question is, what motivates you? What keeps you going? We know it's not easy running a business, so what keeps you going? What motivates you?
I think at the end of the day is the bigger picture for me. So when I remember why it is, I started, or what I want to achieve, then sometimes it's not easy to just get up and say, oh, after a while you're tired. God help you, external forces. Of course you get tired, but then you always have to remember why you started and what you're trying to achieve, the bigger picture for me. And then also if you have, like I said, a group of people a support system, they would always help you. You need a support system. I'm not even going to lie. It's very important. Even if it's one person, your best friend or your aunt, somebody, because you'll be tired. There are so many days you'll be tired. You always have to have somebody. Sometimes I'm so tired, I just call Okpebi, and I know that I'll get Pastor Okpebi. And then I know that I'll get, because it gets very tiring. So you have a support system. You always have to be clear on what you want to achieve. You always have to be clear. And also, please, motivation, you have to learn to rest. If you're not getting any picture, if nothing is coming to mind, rest. If you rest, you will figure it out. That's it.
Thank you.
What keeps every average entrepreneur going is the end in mind. What you see at the end. Pastor Adeboye said he saw that he was going to build a city when he was living in one room. In between those challenges, what you have to remind yourself of is that city. God has told you you'll be something. Like I said, Joseph saw the dream. He saw his brothers bowing down before him. But in that process, they threw him in the pit. And I want to say something. In life, like this Joseph story, there will always be ups and downs sometimes. So if you look at it, they said at a point, it was in the Potiphar's house, he was made the head of the house. That means he was doing very well, like the peak of his career. From that point, he went boom, down. So, but the end in mind, that God promised that, God, you told me this is your dream for me, this is your vision for me. So, once you keep that in your mind, you keep going. There will be challenges, there will be obstacles. Like she said, sometimes you have to rest. Business is so funny that you feel two things, euphoria and terror. You are like, wow, sometimes you make so much money. Somebody calls you, referred you, say, I have hammer. You start doing, what's that new, you want to booga everybody. You just want to booga and say, okay. And there will come a time, your best staff, or two of them will just leave. And you come down, and you have others. And you feel like this is the end of the business, this is the end of the world. But learn to rest, my own favorite quote is, in times like this, there have been times like this. So when I feel down, there have been time, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I said to myself that if that 2 years ago has killed me, I would not have enjoyed those other proceeds I had. So every time I'm down, I said, in times like this, there have been times like this. So I just cool down, look for a solution, and I move on.
Wow, thank you very much. Okay, so our last designer for today, in the person of A.B. La Moda. They'll be walking the wrong way right now. So please, are you guys ready for them? Are we ready for them? Okay, so is sound ready for them? All right, guys, I present to you A.B. La Moda.
It's a blessing to see people with their heads up to the sky still. 'Cause honestly, for the same people, life can be so real. I'm amazed by all your strength I have, and I'm grateful you came through, yeah. So I take this time to stop a moment and show my gratitude for you. I put your light in the air for you. I see what you're doing, see what you're going through. I put your light in the sky, it's true.
Hello, 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 hello. A round of applause, A.B. Lamoda.
It's a blessing to see people with their heads up to the sky still. 'Cause honestly, for the same people,
Ladies and gentlemen, A.B. Lamoda.
put my lighter in the hand for you. I see what you're doing, I see what you're going through. Put a lighter in the hand for truth is you're beautiful, beautiful. Now put your lighter in the air for us. Everybody singing together, sing a new song. Put the lighter in the air for love. It's beautiful, it's beautiful. Let me hear you say, yeah, 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 yeah.
A.B. Lamoda, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Finally, what advice do you have for upcoming guys I want to venture into this industry? What advice do you have for them?
One thing, and please keep data. Keep data, please. I know a lot of people have this problem. People don't keep data. Keep data. Data helps you a lot. It reduces your headache. It stops your guesswork. Keep data. Get feedback from customers and keep data. See, how many did we sell last month? Are we progressing? Are we improving? If you come and meet me and say, okay, you have been doing this, I say I should come and venture your business. I say, okay, how many did you sell 2 months ago? How many what's your increase like? How many were you selling last year? What is your major product? What's actually moving? You need to keep exact data. Exact data. Know what's happening with your business. Know the progress. And this will help you make good decisions. And another thing is, there's this quote I like too. One reason why we will not do it, if we are going to fail for any reason, let it not be fear. Anything can kill the business, but one thing that will not kill this business is fear. What's that on that other side? All of us will go there and see it together. Thank you very much.
Mr. Fair.
I think there's so many things I don't know what to
say. All of them.
Okay, so I think you have to know your business. You have to understand what you're trying to achieve. What you're trying to achieve, you have to always have that at the back of your mind so that you're not, so what you want to achieve, then know your business. And like you said, data is very important, very, very, very important. And please understand, you cannot do it alone. You need people. You need a support system. You need the right team. And if you have that at the back of your mind, it will help you a great deal that you cannot do it alone. Yes.
Please a round of applause for them. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. We really appreciate. God bless you. At this point, I would like to call on the president of Fashion Minds to give us the closing remark. Charlie of Lagos.
Please, let me celebrate this, my August day, man. Please, thank you so much. Thank you for your time, Mr. Lafia. Thank you so much. Every time I visit Mr. Lafia, I always ask me, Charles, where's my granite? And I really want to say thank you, Mr. Lafia. Thank you, Sister Tife, for answering our call. Please, can we celebrate Pastor Shegu? Pastor Shegu did this. Can we just celebrate? Please, let's clap for Pastor Shegu. Let's clap for Pastor Shegu. Please, thank you, everybody. Please, and the vendors are outside. They are ready to sell. Please buy, shop. Shopping is for free, but buy something. You get not just shop, but buy something. Please, they are outside, and God bless you. See you next year at Fashion Mind Weekend. It's not a day anymore. We are doing it 3 days. It is called Fashion Mind Weekend. See you next year. Thank you so much. God bless you all.